This week we have stories on Tirzepatide beating Semaglutide in the weight loss race. Yay. Woo-hoo. Team Tirzepatide. We love that.
We're Team Tirzepatide.
Implantable GLP-1s, which sounds like either sounds intriguing or terrifying. I'm not sure which one. And then the potential for GLP-1s to really impact cancer.
It's great.
It's a great story. Hey there, welcome to the Downsized News. It's Monday, July 15th.
I'm Laraine, and this is Christopher, and we're here to bring you the latest updates and insights on GLP-1 medications, Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegocy, Ozempic, Tirzepatide, and Semaglutide.
Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. for Downsized Live, where we dive deep into these important topics as well.
You can also check out our website and GLP-1 companion store at thedownsized.org for more resources and information.
So while we're passionate about GLP-1s and weight loss, we're not doctors. Neither one of us are. Consult a qualified healthcare professional before starting any weight loss medication or treatment.
All right, now let's get into today's news.
Oh,
Christopher, take it away.
First up, Tirzepatide beats Semaglutide. You may have actually seen I did a longer version of this story that came out on Saturday. This is just the shortened version. Tirzepatide beats Semaglutide in the ultimate game changer for obesity. A groundbreaking new study reveals that Tirzepatide has outperformed Semaglutide in helping adults with overweight or obesity achieve significant health improvements and weight loss. They involved over 18,000 participants. It's a lot of people. The study showed both Semaglutide sold as Ozempic and Wegocy and Tirzepatide sold as Mounjaro and Zepbound significantly improved health outcomes. Tirzepatide outperformed Semaglutide with more people achieving substantial weight loss. Results showed that 81.8% of Tirzepatide users achieved a 5% body weight reduction compared to 66.5% on Semaglutide. Then for a 10% reduction, you saw 62.1% of users hit the mark versus 37.1%. Then for a 15% weight reduction, you saw 42.3% on Tirzepatide versus 18.1% on Semaglutide. This was a retroactive look at data. So this wasn't a research project where they recruited people. They looked at 18,000 people's data and the data they had.
So people on Tirzepatide, 42% of them lost 15% of their weight, and only 18% of people on Semaglutide, 15%. So it's almost like double.
It's a lot. So what does this mean for us? Both medications are effective, but Tirzepatide may offer a bit of an extra boost of weight reduction. As we've said many times, obesity is a complex chronic disease that requires a comprehensive approach that includes lifestyle changes and, of course, these medications. Medications like Semaglutide and Tirzepatide support weight reduction and improve health outcomes as part of a broader treatment plan. These results highlight Tirzepatide's potential to be a more effective treatment for obesity. However, individual results can vary, and you must work with your healthcare provider to find the best treatment plan. In the interviews, we've seen people lose significant weight on Tirzepatide, Semaglutide, Rybelsus.
Yeah, you can lose weight on really any of these GLP-1s, but you might lose a little more with Tirzepatide.
And what we've seen and some of the other research says is the side effects seem to be minimized on Tirzepatide as well.
Yeah.
As I said before, please watch the video that premiered yesterday for a deeper look inside the study.
All right. Sounds good. Next up, we have an intriguing story from PepsiCo. Their CEO, Raymond LaGuardia, claims that GLP-1 weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro aren't affecting their business. But are they burying their heads in the sand? On PepsiCo's recent earnings call, CEO Raymond LaGuardia said that despite softer sales, GLP-1 drugs haven't significantly impacted their business. He attributes the dip in sales to consumers being more value-conscious and selective. But let's take a closer look at what's really going on. Honestly, it seems like PepsiCo might be overlooking something important here. These GLP-1 drugs are highly effective and have the potential to change the lives and eating habits of the 40% plus of Americans who are obese. Novo Nordisk's Ozempic, Rybelsus, and Wegovy pulled in a whopping $21 billion in 2023 alone, a massive 89% increase from the previous year. And that's not something to ignore. And while Gorda says it's not impacting them, the demand for these drugs is skyrocketing. Less than 1% of the U.S. population is on GLP-1s for weight loss, but a Morgan Stanley study projects that number could skyrocket to 25 to 50 million Americans on these GLP-1 drugs by 2030.
And you know what I hear? Viewers for our channel.
That could lead to a 1% to 3% decrease in the national calorie intake. That's significant. Let's not forget that 59% of PepsiCo's net revenue last year came from their food category, not just Pepsi. Some of the biggest names in the food industry, including Lay's, Doritos, Cheetos, Quaker, and Tropicana. Such a heavy reliance on snacks and beverages, how can they ensure that GLP-1s won't impact them? It seems like they might be burying their head in the sand. LaGuardia mentioned that the current consumer behavior is driven by value rather than the influence of weight loss drugs. But if millions more people start using these medications, you can bet their eating habits will change. Let's be real. Companies like PepsiCo could feel the pinch. Maybe they'll just buy more Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
It's crucial for them to stay ahead of these trends and adapt rather than dismiss them. As we know here at the Downsized, this isn't just a passing trend. GLP-1 drugs are game changers in the weight loss world. PepsiCo should be proactive, not reactive. They must prepare for a future where consumer preferences shift toward healthier options. What do you all think? Is PepsiCo underestimating the impact of GLP-1 drugs? Let us know in the comments below. What do you think, Christopher?
I think they're burying their head in the sand. I've talked about this with food manufacturers
other food
already
manufacturers.
before. So
Yeah, so I think people on GLP-1 drugs will not be eating Doritos or potato chips. They might be eating Quaker oatmeal. They might be drinking low-sugar Tropicana orange juice. And they might be drinking Diet Pepsi, although the price of sodas has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
It's just so expensive. And I can see why he would think, oh, they're just not buying drinks because they're expensive. I used to be able to buy a 12-pack of drinks for $3 or $4 on sale. That's what I would always look for. And now it's $7, $8, $9 a 12-pack. Like it's
expensive.
You're like, why? So.
Even if they figure out a way to do it with sodas, and certainly much of that market has shifted to sparkling waters, and there's a lot of other options. And PepsiCo owns a lot of those too. They may be able to insulate themselves on the beverage side, the snack side. They can innovate their way through it, but traditionally the Pepsis and the Cokes of the world have not been great innovators. Sorry, guys. They were really good at buying other brands that were innovative, so a coconut water or whatever, so they can go out and buy some of these protein bar
Quest.
companies, right, Quest or somebody, and try and figure it out, but it hasn't been something that they're terribly good at. Story number 3 is an interesting new study. A recent analysis revealed that only 15% of patients prescribed GLP-1s for weight loss were still taking them after 2 years. According to an analysis posted on July 10th by the pharmacy benefit manager, Prime Therapeutics. Yes, I know, we're all skeptical of PBMs, and they're adding a lot of cost to the industry. Only about 15% of individuals who began taking GLP-1 drugs for weight loss persisted with medication after 2 years. This analysis, which looked at pharmacy claims, shows a significant drop in usage over time. The study reviewed 3,364 obese patients with a body mass index greater than 30 who started taking a GLP medication in 2021. These patients were continuously enrolled with a commercial insurer, and those with diabetes were excluded from the study. The results are striking. While 47.1% remained on the medication after 180 days, this number dropped to 28.9% after 1 year and plummeted to just 14.8% by the 2-year mark. So why are so many people discontinuing these medications? It seems that initial enthusiasm may have waned over time. I don't know. Laraine and I can talk about that. There's a lot of conversation there. A flurry of other studies has shown relatively high dropout rates as early as 4 weeks into treatment, with discontinuation increasing as time goes on. This raises concerns about the long-term sustainability of weight loss and achieving positive health outcomes. The real-world data highlights a critical issue: adherence and persistence. At the end of the 2 years, only 16.6% of patients adhered to their GLP-1 obesity treatment, with an average percentage of days covering 40.7%. The highest persistent rates were seen with weekly injections like Wegocy, 24.1%, and Ozempic, 22.2%, while daily injections like Saxenda were 7.4%, and Victoza, 7.0%, had the lowest rates. So people were more likely to do weekly than daily.
And Mounjaro wasn't around in 2020.
No, but I would assume it would be a similar rate. As we learn more about GLP-1s, it becomes apparent that long-term use is crucial for sustained weight loss and health benefits, understanding real-world treatment adherence and persistence rates is essential for developing better support systems for patients. Because I think there's some obvious
I've got a lot
answers
to
to this.
say about
Please.
this.
Yeah.
So I think back in 2021, nobody had a lot of information about it. Even semaglutide, that's been around since, the 90s, or it's been around for a while.
Basically, they followed this for a year. So 2021, 2022.
Doctors didn't know a lot about it. I don't know how educated these patients were, because the thought today is you might have to stay on this forever. And I think maybe the thought in 2021 or prior was, you take the drug, you lose weight, you go off the drug, you're cured. We know now that's not what works. We see now that people who go off the drug tend to gain a little bit back because it's not a cure. It's not a cure for obesity, it's a treatment for obesity. It's one of the tools in the toolbox for obesity. These drugs aren't necessarily fast weight loss. 1 to 2 pounds a week is what you're going to lose on average. And I think a lot of people, if they're only seeing that they lost 5 pounds in the first month, throw the baby out with the bathwater and like, this isn't working. I'm shooting myself in the stomach with this shot every week. I've only lost 5 pounds. I can do that on Weight Watchers. Yeah, you can, but you're not.
But most people don't.
It's the consistency. So if they would have stayed with it, they would have seen those little losses turn into 50 pounds or 100 pounds in a year. I think just the education and the knowledge wasn't there, and that's what skewed this study.
Well, I think that's certainly part of it. I would love to see the data on what people were paying. So early on, there was a huge group that were paying $25.
I know there was a coupon back a year and a half ago that came out that you get it for $25, like whether your insurance covered it or not, you could get it for $25. And a lot of people jumped on that train, and then that coupon ended in June of 2023, and then some people were told they had to pay now $550 a month, and that's a big difference.
List was $1,100.
Yeah. Your insurance doesn't cover it now, and you have to pay out of pocket. A lot of people just
I believe cost is a huge factor in people stopping doing this. $1,100 a month, I got to feed my baby, and I got to pay my mortgage. There's just other things. I also think just the education factor, as you said, around speed of loss, and I actually think it's fast. I think the whole paradigm's wrong. Around the different side effects and training and managing the side effects, both on the consumer side, the patient side, but with doctors actually knowing what.
Yeah.
No offense to any doctor, but I don't think most of them had a clue then, and many of them still do not today.
I talked to one lady in an interview the other day that came to her doctor's appointment to get on a. She had seen it on TV. A celebrity was on it, and she wanted to get on it. She did a ton of research online. She printed it out. She brought it into her doctor and said, "Here's everything I know about GLP-1s, and here's why I want to do it, and this is why I think I should have it." And the doctor was like, "Okay, done." Because the doctor she knew her doctor didn't know that much about it, and she wanted to educate the doctor, if you will. And that's what patients are having to do. I know I took my results chart to my doctor when I went in March for my checkup, and I said, "Look, here's my results. I'm on compounded Tirzepatide." And she went, if they don't know anything about it, they're not going to really say anything about it. I think that there's a lot of education that needs to happen, and the more people that go on it, the more we're going to see a demand for that.
And just the medical community building plans that help people succeed. So if we can get it to a cost where it's manageable and it's not a burden, and doctors can help give us the tools we need, or I guess it's us helping give the tools we need, that people know, anticipate the problems, because I think a lot of times the problems aren't insurmountable, but if you don't know they're going to happen, they can be a lot. So there's opportunities to really make this a better process for everybody. All right, you're up.
Okay, so Pfizer is making headlines with their latest update on danuglipron, a once-daily oral GLP-1 receptor agonist. According to their recent pharmacokinetic study, the results support the advancement of dose optimization studies, which are set to launch in the second half of 2024. Danuglipron was discovered and developed by Pfizer researchers as a once-daily oral GLP-1 medication. Previously, Pfizer discontinued their initial studies on a similar once-daily oral GLP-1 drug due to elevated liver enzymes. They then continued with danuglipron as a twice-daily medication. Still, trials were halted in December 2023 because of inferior weight loss results and an increased likelihood of side effects like nausea. But here's the good news. Researchers have been working on modifying danuglipron into a once-daily modified release tablet. Early clinical evaluations are promising, suggesting a favorable profile that supports further research and development. Mike Dolston, MD, PhD, and Chief Scientific Officer and President of Pfizer Research and Development, stated, "Obesity is a key therapeutic area for Pfizer, and the company has a robust pipeline of 3 clinical and several preclinical candidates." It's encouraging. The most advanced of them, danuglipron, has demonstrated good efficacy in a twice-daily formulation, and we believe a once-daily formulation has the potential to have a competitive profile in the oral GLP-1 space. Dolston also mentioned that with the preferred modified release formulation and future trial design optimization, they aim to advance danuglipron into registration-enabling studies. The goal is to address the ongoing medical needs of people living with obesity. A once-daily oral GLP-1 medication could offer more convenience and potentially fewer side effects, making it a viable option for more patients.
What do you think?
Yeah, I take a pill once a day. I take a vitamin once a day.
Sure, why not?
I take progesterone at night. I take all my other vitamins in the morning, so I'm taking something.
When we've talked about the dailies, I think a lot of the ones we've talked about have come from little companies that I have never heard of.
Well, we've heard of Pfizer.
Right, so Pfizer is another big dog player in this.
They want a piece of this action. They see what's happening.
And the more players there are out there, theoretically, more competition should bring the
price down.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
So that's why I tell people when they say, "Oh, I can't continue to pay this forever," I tell them, hang in there, because other things are coming down the pike.
This one's a bit out. This is they're really early on talking about this, so it might be 3 or 4 years on this if I had to guess. Up next, though, a completely different technology on it, and a company I've never heard of, Vivani Medical, is embarking on a significant journey with the launch of its first clinical study. This groundbreaking 6-month glucagon-like peptide 1, so GLP-1 of course, implant for chronic weight management. They've developed a GLP-1 implant. I assume like the birth control implant. It goes in the arm or the hip. I don't know where it goes, but gets shot in you. For chronic weight management, it is a pioneering approach to combat obesity in patients with related health conditions, marking a significant leap forward in the field. The trial, known as Liberate-1, is scheduled to begin in Q4 of this year in
Australia.
Pending regulatory clearance, of course. Vivani plans to enroll 24 participants who will be randomly assigned to receive either the GLP-1 implant, which will have Wegocy, or a weekly exenatide injection known as Bydureon, over a 9-week period. So this company, Vivani, sells the device, and the medication will be Wegocy or Bydureon. But Adam Mendelsohn, PhD, President and CEO of Vivani, is optimistic about the implant's potential. He envisions the results of Liberate-1 may pave the way for a subsequent clinical trial to explore higher and potentially more effective doses of our exenatide implant on weight and tolerability in obese or overweight patients, potentially revolutionizing obesity treatment. Vivani's implant leverages nanoportal drug delivery technology, demonstrating promising results in preclinical and animal models. The company aims to identify the optimal dosage through these trials and hopes to validate its technology for broader applications in chronic disease management. I've seen a lot of conversation around these kind of on the interwebs, the Reddits and all that, and either people are super excited about it or they're terrified that, oh gosh, if that dose wasn't good for me, how do I get it out? And I'm stuck with it for 30 days.
I wonder if it gives a continuous dose or if the dose builds over the 6 months.
I think that's that whole nanoportal technology.
What does nanoportal drug technology mean?
I know the birth control ones are doing
that's the same low dose.
I think it's the same low dose, but this is a little piece of technology, so it could do whatever dosing you want.
And it's for 6 months, they said? The implant would last for 6 months? That's a long time.
No, the implant was 30 days. The test is 6 months.
So you'd have to get a new implant every 30 days?
Well, this is still only on 25 people. So.
I know. I want to know. I want to know.
I think
more.
they're still working it out. I don't think we know.
So would you get a new implant you go to your doctor every month and get a new implant if this comes to pass?
I think, again, how long does the birth control ones last? Do you know? Did you ever do that?
I don't think I ever had that one. I had the birth control shot. Is that the same thing?
No, it was a little plastic, thing in your arm.
Yeah, no,
on your butt or whatever.
I never had that one. And then if you reacted badly to it, it'd be
they'd have to take it out.
Yeah, I have questions. I have questions.
It's another one of those things of, does it work? I don't know. Is it a cool idea? Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Well, they're only testing it on 24 people, so...
They're very early in the process. So there's a lot of people doing press releases and saying, hey, look at what we're doing. My guess would be mostly they're looking for funding.
Right.
You make a stink baby, you can find $1 million to help you to pay for it.
Our next story is about GLP-1 medications linked to lowering cancer risks. For people struggling with obesity or type 2 diabetes, the risk of developing certain cancers is a significant concern. Studies have shown that overweight individuals face a higher risk for 13 types of cancer, with risks increasing over time and with more weight gain. Shockingly, about 40% of new cancer diagnoses are linked to excess weight, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. However, a recent study published in the JAMA Network Open has revealed promising findings. It suggests that individuals with type 2 diabetes who were treated with GLP-1 medications were significantly less likely to be diagnosed with 10 out of the 13 obesity-associated cancers compared to those using insulin. Specifically, the study found that GLP-1 treatment was associated with more than a 50% reduction in the risk of cancers such as gallbladder cancer, meningioma, pancreatic cancer, and hepatocellular carcinoma, a type of liver cancer. Additionally, it showed significant reductions in ovarian cancer, colorectal cancer, multiple myeloma, esophageal cancer, endometrial cancer, and kidney cancer. Excess weight can lead to chronic inflammation and abnormal levels of insulin and hormones, which are known to promote cancer growth. GLP-1 medications interact with systems related to insulin production, potentially mitigating these cancer-promoting factors. While the study highlights positive effects comparable to intensive lifestyle interventions and metabolic bariatric surgery, it did not find a reduced risk of postmenopausal breast cancer, which is the most common obesity-associated cancer in women. No risk reduction was observed for stomach cancer or thyroid cancer, with indications from other research suggesting possible interactions between GLP-1 drugs and thyroid function. Interestingly, the study did not find a significant difference in cancer risk between GLP-1 treatments and metformin for people with type 2 diabetes, except for a higher risk of kidney cancer among GLP-1 users compared to metformin users. These findings underscore the potential benefits of GLP-1 medication in cancer prevention among high-risk populations. However, more research is needed to understand how these benefits correlate with weight loss. The study authors emphasize the importance of further preclinical and clinical studies to validate these preliminary findings.
So is there nothing it won't cure?
I mean, they think it's good for a lot of those cancers.
Yeah?
10 out of 13 of the most common if it stopped anyone from getting cancer, wouldn't it be amazing and worth it? That's really just fascinating. So we've seen these GLP-1 drugs be good for sleep apnea, for cardiac patients, for
kidney, liver, all kinds of fun stuff.
Now cancer. Is there anything these GLP-1s can't do?
I think it's whether they're actually the cause or just the weight loss is the cause. It doesn't really matter, right? It ends up the same thing.
Well, and it just goes back to where the doctors tell you if you could just lose weight, maybe this would be better. And that's a lot of times that's bullshit. Like I had one lady that broke her arm, and the doctor said, well, if you would just lose weight, what? She broke her arm. Other times, losing weight can help prevent a lot of these diseases or help with back problems, knee problems, all sorts of problems.
Yeah, well, you asked me about my knee earlier today, right?
Yes, tell them about
so
your knee.
I had in first grade, actually, I had a cyst in the back of my knee, a Baker's cyst. It's huge. It's about 6 ounces in the back of my knee on a little fella in first grade. that was removed, a couple hundred stitches a long time ago, right? 70s. So my knee has always hurt. Laraine asked this morning, hey, how's your knee been doing? Well, it turns out when you're carrying around 73 pounds less weight, your knee doesn't hurt. Now, did the GLP-1s also help a little bit with inflammation and all that? Absolutely, I believe that. But the weight loss and the combination have been great for it. Does it still hurt a little bit? Yeah, it'll always hurt.
I hate that. I'm glad it's less.
Yeah, it's a good thing. That's the news for this week. All kinds of cool stuff going on, and we just continue to see a lot of interesting stories coming out. You'll see us doing this every week, and where they're truly important, we'll pop up and do individual videos as well. Watch for those. Thank you again for being a part of our Downsized community as we delve into the realm of GLP-1s together. Please do not forget to subscribe.
Subscribe right
And
now.
of course, don't miss out on our GLP-1 companion product store at thedownsized.org.
Thanks for watching. I'm Laraine Durham.
And I'm Christopher.
And until next time, take care.